of a valedictorian. This student is chosen not only to speak to the graduates of that year, but is representative of the class's achievements and their goals. This year's valedictorian is an academic, an advocate, a person who once stopped a hallway fight when she was only in grade 9. She was a Beal athlete, a Pulse leader, an actor down in the drama studio. She had hardships too, most notably, during the entirety of her education at Beal, she was forced to share a home and often a morning car ride with Ms. Suzanne Silcox.
What?
Our valedictorian is no stranger to this stage. As a Beal singer, a Beal dancer, and a performer in both The Music Man and this spring's West Side Story. I have known her for so long, I remember when she was shorter than me. Class of 2015, please welcome to the stage your valedictorian, Meghan Grant.
I'm sorry.
When I am faced with an ending, my first instinct is to allow my mind to distract itself at the beginning. And I've created this whole scenario in my head, a lunch date with myself in grade 9. And whether this academically eager girl knows it or not, she is already a part of an impeccable legacy. Ladies and gentlemen, faculty and fellow graduates, my name is Meghan Grant, and I have the great pleasure of congratulating all of you on making it up the stairway to heaven. I'm sure all visitors were reassured ahead of time that you aren't the only ones out of breath. Believe me, it is impossible to get used to that. And as valedictorian this year, I will happily congratulate the 2015 HB Beal Secondary School class for completing their final year of high school. It seems so far away, doesn't it? The process of finding the right high school. Perhaps you're out of area for Beal, therefore ridden with the same questions from your grade 8 peers. Don't you have to audition to go there? Isn't that an art school? Aren't you afraid of the meth clinic across the street? But I reassured them that Beal is just a normal school with math, science, and geography. But grade 8 night turned that average thought into a hyperbolic reality of an aquarium hallway, a gigantic auditorium, and a pool. I was fortunate enough to be familiar with the school before grade 8. When my dad, Mr. Grant, the tall auto tech teacher who says hi to any student in the hallway, met Miss Silcox, my stepmom, the crazy English teacher whose boisterous personality scares many a quiet student.
So not cool. So not
From
cool.
then on, it was visits to see the dance shows, the art shows, and most importantly for me, the musical theater productions. It was an annual tradition to see such brilliance, moving me to tears year after year with a passion that was so easy to find. Passion doesn't stop at the canvas or the stage. It merely translates into the court, track, rink, or diamond. Our athletes, whether we bring home the gold or not, exhibit a strong sense of ownership. We strive to improve for ourselves and for our team. I loved every second I had on the volleyball court. Sure, I was filled to the brim with aggressive competitiveness, but I wouldn't trade a 2-25 game for anything just to have a great memory of a good rally with the girls. We are the last generation of the Beal 100, an anniversary that seemingly never actually ended. And if you were in choir that year, I applaud you for performing Mozart's 8-minute Requiem at 14 years old. Enough times that we still have the ability to sing it from memory. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. That commitment and dedication we found so naturally responsible for proves something. You see, Beal is a talent factory. If you take a handful of grade 9s, you will end up with a dancer, continuing on to the Indigenous Dance Residency at the Banff Center, and contributing to this year's record of most graduating First Nation students in over 2 generations. You will get a football player. You will get a football player who had to decide between world championships with Raider Robotics or performing Beal Musical Theater's West Side Story. You will get a student whose struggled with academics all his life, but when faced with the campus, his world blossoms, and a student who found her love for automotive technology while being president of Beal Student Council. All walks of life have their place here, perhaps in more than one way. I will always remember a student on our first week of high school that wore a superhero Comic-Con-like costume, and he flew through the hallways with his cape waving behind him, and no one even batted an eye. There are those who have worn their hearts on their sleeves because creativity and uniqueness are so important. In our time here, we've altered a general women's washroom into an all-gender washroom for people to feel how they should. Safe, important, and accepted. By accepting each other, we learn to accept ourselves. These years allowed us to experiment with who we are, what we wear, how we act, and whom we call our friends. Having participated in clubs and teams over my high school career, I grew to love each individual group of friends I became a part of. There were my Pulse friends, my volleyball girls, my musical theater squad, and then there are friends of years past. As valedictorian, one's duty is to represent the entire graduating class. And although our school seemed closer to human capacity each year, our paths have all crossed at one point or another. I must extend a hand and say thank you. Thank you for being my PH lab partner, my casual bathroom conversationalist, and my best friend for any period of time. I appreciate all of you for what you have contributed to who I am today. People will try to convince you that time will weather the friendships you make in high school. That might be true, but hold on to the lessons each person taught to you about your own values and interests. Now that we have these values and interests, and most of us have lived through our first federal election, we can concentrate our impending adulthood. Many of us have moved past the very big decision when we choose what to do for the rest of our lives, happy at our universities, colleges, or workplaces. Some choose to stay here to gain more knowledge before making the very big decision. I, on the other hand, am working at a sushi restaurant, looking at the post-secondary world from the sidelines with a great pride for my brave peers. My very big decision has already been decided, though. I'm not ready to start so soon. Neither is my bank account, but that's beside the point. Once we start on this journey, there are so many questions that come to mind. Am I in the right program? What am I going to do after I'm done school? Will I ever pay back my student loans? Are my floor mates the most reliable sources of information? Does the cheese and craft dinner actually count as a serving of dairy? Will my mom come all the way to California to help me when I'm sick? Graduates, I'd like you all to give a big hug, a big thank you to those who gave you the direction that made questions like these less scary. Parents, friends, grandparents, teachers, coaches, siblings, and guidance counselors. We are adults now. Keep in mind of where you are going and where you have come from. If you are in the right place, the only direction you can go is up. When a vine comes across a wall, does it stop growing? No, it simply climbs the wall. Your decisions and certainties will be challenged. Of course, you will have days of loneliness and confusion and doubt, but it's how you send your tendrils to pull yourself out of there and towards the light. Look around you at the people who have passed the finish line with you. Tonight is to celebrate each other's achievements and to reflect upon the high school years with endearment, nostalgia, and also with triumph. We did it. And so, as I sit there in London River with a grade 9 me who's balancing her 98% average with volleyball, choir, Pulse Leadership Club, and all of her new friends, I tell her, this school is what you make of it. You know, there's beauty in the way that we are all connected through classrooms and hallways. And there's a future so soon for the most of us that things won't appear as sure as they used to be, but be strong and be kind. Knowing here we are changing the view of a single future. Here we are the melding pot of experiences and passions. Here we leave legacies of handprints and stairwells to remind us that success is right now. Class of 15. Be proud of the impact you have contributed to your HBDO. Thank you.
microphones. Thank you. As time goes by so slowly. Oh wait, that starts to sound a little familiar. Like two wise old dudes once said, if you don't know what else to say, quote lyrics. Now that I think back, it was Ted Theodore Logan and Bill S. Preston Esquire, fondly remembered from my high school memories as Bill and Ted. Well, the real fact is that time moves along at a constant rate. Whether you're 5 or 75, it is our perception of speed of time that is directly related to the changes in our lives, the events, the moments, and the richness of these memories for which we keep. My previous job, a wonderful boss told me and said, cherish the time when the kids are young, for they will grow up so fast that you may only recognize the ages past by the clothing that you are dropping off in the Goodwill box. Don't miss a thing as they grow. If there's one really important event, just don't miss it. Make it there. Well, this is one really special event. I managed to get pretty much a front row seat to this. I'm in a very unique position tonight, where I'm honored to not only be up here with my daughter, but be up here with the valedictorian, and not out in the parking lot directing traffic. Meghan's dream to come to Beal was pretty much an easy one. Coming here with the family to music theater events when she was a lot younger, having us share in some of the Young American workshops, and then having her herself come up onto the big stage. The decision was simple. This was just not going to be a somewhere. This was going to be Beal for her. Since her first steps as she set up the stairway to heaven, she wanted to make sure that she could be a facet to all parts of the Beal community, whether it was chatting with the BMT crowd, the meetings, as she said, with the Pulse Leadership Committee, fundraising, campaign awareness, or even just talking strategy with the girls' volleyball. Checking in with the squad was really important. As Meghan proceeded along in her school career, she was constantly driven to produce exemplary work in the classroom, demonstrating excellence in all subjects from English to technology. Her drive to have academic success was only superseded by her intuitive sense to offer someone else a helping hand or an empathetic ear when needed. Now, normally a teenager would like to have a little bit of distance from the parents during the school day. Well, thank goodness for a very big school. As the days and years passed, Meghan would see Miss Silcox or myself only about as much as a VIA train will hold back your arrival at school on William Street. Now, for many, the short, interesting parent-teacher meetings, it would be nothing more than in the mailroom going, hey, how's Meghan doing? Fantastic, great, thank you very much. But also having Meghan and her sister at her sister Valerie at the school last year gave us a really rare opportunity at the dining room table to immerse ourselves in very intense conversations about the school, and it was exceptional. So I have this great pride and humility, as well as many other things, having known that she had worked hard to live up to her goal to be a part of the Beal legacy. Starting in the centennial of Beal itself, it really made her aim her sights high. This is a very wild environment at times, whether you're a parent in the halls, but I had a really awesome experience to be that fly on the wall and be able to look at Meghan as she grew up in this school and become a young adult. I'm very honored to have had this opportunity to speak to you tonight, not only as a teacher, as a mentor to others, as a parent, but also just as a Raider. So thank you very much, and I will now present this to this year's valedictorian.